Morning. I hope this finds you well. Still kind of a little bit of my morning voice. I love playing with my morning voice. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Anyway, I digress. Just out here on the porch having my morning cup of coffee and thought it might be a good time to take a swing at some quick tips for keeping a little bit more happy in the holiday, getting into January with a little bit more in the tank. Particularly this holiday season, which is going to be just like every other holiday season. No big deal, no different than nothing going on this year. Yeah. So let's start here. Few tips real quick. One, don't go to the hardware store for milk. If I go to the hardware store, step up to the counter and I'd like a gallon of milk. And they're like, yes, well, we don't sell milk. I'm like, yes, but I want a gallon of milk. And they're like, right, so we don't sell milk. And I just get progressively angrier at them for not having the milk that I want them to have. Well, that's on me, isn't it? Because they're saying, I'm a hardware store, I don't sell milk. But too often I can get frustrated with friends or relatives for when I show up to them, they're not being the person I think they could be, or that I really want them to be, or that I even need them to be. And I'm missing an opportunity. If I go to the hardware store for milk and get angry at them, that's a problem. If I go to the hardware store looking for hardware, or at least interested in hardware, well, then something beautiful could unfold. I can discover something in the aisles that I hadn't previously known was there. It can be like that in our relationships if we don't go to the hardware store for milk with the people we love. Also, 2, get milk. Get milk. If you need your milk, whatever that quote-unquote milk might be, get your milk. Don't skip it just because that particular store you're in front of doesn't sell it. In other words, make sure you're taking care of your own needs. If you need to get some emotional comfort or have a conversation that's more like the kind of conversations you like to have, well, reach out to that friend, reach out to that loved one, sit and write in a journal. Take care of your own needs. Which brings me to a third tip. So there's going to be 4, it turns out. It brings me to a third tip, which is to take care of you. The rest of the year, you're really good at taking care of you. You know how to take care of you. Even if you don't do it all the time, you know how much sleep to get, you know how much food to get, you know how much meditation, you know how much exercise, you know all the different things that allow you to be the best version of you. Well, just because your routine gets broken up, which it will, and it's a bummer for me when that happens, I become more and more dependent on routine. You may be traveling, which can be great, but also problematic for some of those things that you know take care of you. So you might not be able to do them in the way that you're used to doing them, but you can still do them. You can still step into the restroom for a minute to take a few minutes to meditate. You can still walk around the block to get a little bit of exercise or do some push-ups in your hotel room. You can do things to take care of you a little bit that is going to help take care of that need, but also kind of send a message to your own internal home office. I got this. I'm taking care of me. Don't worry. I know how to take care of me. So don't surrender that. And last but not least, I would say now more than ever, get curious. Here's the thing about my beliefs, my opinions. I know them. I'm convinced of my opinions. I'm clear about them. You can't threaten them just by sharing a different one. But I can get curious about yours and maybe learn more about yours. And in so doing, maybe I can find a path to a new common ground. Now, I grant fully, every day I'm wrestling with, in this era, is that possible? It's a whole complicated topic. So obviously, when there's room, when there's interest, when it seems like there's a genuine interest in understanding one another, get curious. Get curious, which is also, by the way, the access point to knowing, is this a hardware store or do they sell milk? It's an access point to knowing, do I really need some milk right now? It's an access point to knowing what kind of self-care do I need? And yes, getting curious is an access point to bridging gaps, bridging divides between us when it's safe, when there's a mutual desire to do so. Get curious. I think you might be surprised at what can unfold and what can deepen. I hope that's useful. I hope it helps put a little bit more happy in the holidays. I hope I can remember it and practice it myself. And I hope that we all have a safe and, yes, reasonably happy holiday season and arrive in early January with a bit more in the tank than we usually do. Be so very good to you. Happy Gratitude Day in advance. Bye now.